Hi guys, welcome to Twin Perspective. I'm Joe, and tonight I'm going to be breaking down my top five greatest albums by Sting. Sting's been around a while. He was the front man for the Police. I loved that band, loved everything they did. I wasn't a fanboy and didn't buy up all their albums at the time, though. I was born in '71, so I was getting into music, in my teens, and then Sting went solo and thus began a love affair for the artist. The Police, and retrospectively, but Sting pretty much along for the ride for every solo album he did. I've been a fan my whole life, and if you're tuning into this video, you're a fan of his too. I hope you understand where I'm coming from. Generally, my number ones are not the consensus number ones, but I inject some of my own thoughts and feelings around each album, and hopefully your favorite appears on my list. So here we go. At number five, I'm going with The Soul Cages from 1991. This album to me felt like it was about Sting's feelings about his father passing away. It seemed like a whole concept album, felt like a therapy in a way. And he hit some pretty good moments in this album, starting with Island of Souls, which I think, in my opinion, is pretty haunting. All this time, which was surprisingly a big single, despite some of the language. I always loved it. I thought it was a real rebel song. Mad About You is brilliant. There's a lot of history in this album. There's a lot of, biblical and otherwise history. Uh, Mad About You is a good one. My favorite song that Sting has ever done appears on this album, and it is called Why Should I Cry for You? The version that's on the Soul Cages is good. There are several versions out there. They're all pretty good. Why Should I Cry for You is is my favorite song Sting's ever done. It's brilliant. Powerful. I absolutely love it. Among my favorites on this album, also including St. Agnes and the Burning Train, an instrumental. These kind of songs I can listen to all day long. Brilliant effort there by Sting. Love it. The Wild Wild Sea, which is pretty good stuff. It's a pretty sophisticated song. The Soul Cages, the title track, that one seemed to be geared towards being a single. It was. The album ends with When the Angels Fall. I feel like that song's pretty haunting as well. All in all, a really good album. From 1991, The Soul Cages. At number four, I'm going with The Dream of the Blue Turtles from 1985. This was his original solo effort, and it left an impression right away. Multiple songs getting airplay on the radio, including the opening track, If You Love Somebody, Set Them Free. Love is the Seventh Wave is another very good song. Russians was a big hit. That melody gets into your brain when you listen to that one. And those words are as meaningful today as they were then. Shadows in the Rain, I like that song, very nice. We Work the Black Seam, excellent work there, excellent musicianship. This band was top notch. Consider Me Gone, same thing. The title track, The Dream of the Blue Turtles, not bad. Moon over Bourbon Street, always had an affinity for that one. And Fortress Around Your Heart, another pretty big single from 1985, The Dream of the Blue Turtles. I always appreciated this album. His second release, Nothing Like the Sun, spoiler alert, does not appear on my list. I would have it probably at number six, but I always did like The Dream of the Blue Turtles better. At number three, I'm going with Mercury Falling from 1996. I was into music pretty big until the early 90s. I checked out trying to enjoy anything new and modern and tried to get into some more modern stuff in the mid 90s. And yeah, Sting kind of helped me out there, releasing a couple of good albums. Here at number three, Mercury Falling, 1996. This album's really, really good. If you don't have it, you need to go and get it. There's just a ton of excellent music there. Opens up with The Hounds of Winter. Excellent. I Hung My Head. It's a great cowboy song, but it's not a, country song, but it's still a cowboy song. Let Your Soul Be Your Pilot. That one's fun. It's a nice little soulful jam and decent single. One of my favorites from the album, I Was Brought to My Senses. That is phenomenal. I think Sting's a great storyteller. So, and I know he can get repetitive with some of the way he does the lyrics and stuff, but I've noticed because I'm a fan and I listen to all of his albums, and I just really appreciate it. I groove on it, so probably why I'm such a big fan. I Was Brought to My Senses is an excellent, excellent song. You Still Touch Me. Yeah, that's a good song too. That was fun. My favorite country song of all time is on this album. It's called I'm So Happy I Can't Stop Crying. It is a country song, and it is my favorite country song that I've ever heard. So if you like country music, at least check that one out. I love it. I'm sure country artists have redone it. Another song, All Four Seasons. I've loved that one too. I can relate. La Belle Dame Sans Regrets. I don't understand a word he's saying, but I can mimic most of it because it's a beautiful song and I listen to it repeatedly. Valparaiso, good song. Ends with Lithium Sunset, not bad. Really good album. I was impressed with this one, and this one, that beginning, straight through to La Belle Dame Sans Regret. That's some great stuff. Beautiful music. Didn't know if he could do better than that, and he actually barely topped it in 1999. I'm going with my number two greatest album by Sting, Brand New Day. Now, the title track, Brand New Day, features Stevie Wonder on harmonica, and it's a pretty good song. It's kind of poppy. Um, don't let it turn you off if you don't like that song. It comes at the end of the album. The album starts with 1,000 Years. I love that song. I love the way it's structured. It's nice. Desert Rose, which was a big single for him, and I really love that song. I'm a fan. I It's kind of different than what Sting was doing before, but he did a great job with that. Something that's a lot more similar to Sting's style would be the next song, Big Lie, Small World, great story. Love that song. Love the horns in it. Love the mood it creates. Excellent song if you've never heard that one. Big Lie, Small World. And yes, I have been there. I have walked the streets with the rain pouring on me, hungry, cold. Great song. The next one, After the Rain Has Fallen. And I like that one too. It's got a neat story. I kind of felt like it was pretty cheesy when I first heard it, but it gets better, and it's just poppy, and it's a nice little track. Now we're getting into some rarefied air here with Perfect Love, Gone Wrong. It's an unbelievable combination of musicianship and storytelling. Great song, Perfect Love, Gone Wrong. Check that one out. The next one on the album is called Tomorrow We'll See. And I feel like this is the sequel to Roxanne by the Police. Whereas in Roxanne, we were getting the perspective of someone observing a person who was a lady of the night, giving their feelings on it. Tomorrow We'll See is from the perspective of the lady of the night. And it's pretty powerful and pretty wonderful song. I would check it out if you've never heard it. Next is my second favorite country song of all time. Yes, I don't have a lot of country artists in my favorites. The Eagles hold a lot of my favorite country songs. The Bee Gees, yes. And Sting here with Fill Her Up. I love that song. There's like three different parts to it. It starts off as a country song. It kind of turns into uh, kind of soulful in the gospel, and then it turns into this crazy times jazzy jam, and love it. Fill her up. Great country song, gone haywire. One of my favorites on the album right after that, Ghost Story. Just beautiful. Beautiful song. One of my favorites he's ever done. Right there toward the end of the album. That's what makes albums good for me. When you can have these great songs in the middle, great songs toward the end, don't leave me hanging. Okay. Don't be a little weak when you can, spread that weakness in somewhere else where I don't notice it as blatantly. So kudos to Brand New Day. It ends with the title track Brand New Day, and I like that song too a lot. Which leads me to my number one greatest album by Sting, in my opinion, 10 Sumner's Tales from 1993. Beautiful album. When this album came out, I remember thinking, okay, this is the direction Sting's going. I'm there with you. I thought this album was amazing. Not a bad song on it. It's interesting. It's different. I love it. It starts off with "If I ever lose my faith in you." "If I ever lose my faith" was a big single of his. The next song, "Love is Stronger Than Justice," with one of those classic storytelling. Just enough of a change there in the timing and tempo to keep it interesting, and of course the story carries it. Poignant message. The really big single, "Fields of Gold." Now, when that song came out, I had an affinity for it. This album was released in 1993. But the second I heard Fields of Gold, I was transported into middle school, high school again. The man has a way of creating a mood, and just, I was there. And every time I hear that song, it does that to me. So no matter how popular it gets or how overplayed it is, I'm always going to love Fields of Gold. Next is Heavy Cloud, No Rain. I love that song, love singing it. It might be my favorite on the album, pretty close to my favorite on the album. It's just too fun. And speaking of fun, the very next song, She's Too Good for Me. If you've ever been married, you can get into this one. And it's a jam, and I love it. I think it's a great jam. Next is 7 Days. Beautiful, odd timing, and great, great instrumentation. It's a sweet Sweet as jam. Good job, Sting on 7 days. Then you have a very interesting jam, St. Augustine in Hell. I thought that one was wild at first, but it really does grow on you. And yeah, it's a story too, and it's a good one. Love it. The next song is It's Probably Me. That was a single, and it's a beautiful song, followed by Shape of My Heart. And there are several versions of that as well. I think Eric Clapton plays guitar on that one, this album. Shape of My Heart's great. Something the Boy Said is fine, and it ends with epilogue, Nothing About Me, and that's one of my favorite songs he's ever done. Love that song as well. All in all, Tim Sumner's Tales. It's my number one. I didn't have to really think about it. It's always been my favorite album by Sting, but the rest of the list was hard for me. But I love Sting. He does a great job with his albums. I don't know how many more he's going to release. And my affinity for the older songs, the older albums. I'm such a I'm such an old man, set in my ways. It would have to be something exceptional that catches me at the right time for me to alter this list. I do love Sting. Dune, hey, yes. All right, that's my list. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Joe. This is Twin Perspective. Subscribe to Rosenfield 10 for more videos like this. And I will see you in the trees. Bye.